to place, and I think it's been made pretty clear to us from staff that we're not supposed to be putting demands on them or asking them to do things. So if there's something that we want some additional research on, I'm not gonna call Rebecca or Mark and say, can you research this? I don't know, do you?
No way.
So I don't know if other trustees do or not. I know I don't. And I make a point, I don't frequent Village Hall, I don't come in and drop in on people and bother them and take up time during their day. And I make a point not to do that. So I don't really consider them, like if there's something really, if there is something kind of out of what we're normally doing, I would not consider them resources for us. But on the other hand, for us to just find people in the community, I mean, maybe a consultant is a better, I'm not sure where the best place to get that kind of information would be, because I mean, I don't know how many people are.
I mean, they're just volunteers, but we do turn to them, or we should do, we've had a pattern of just talk about development, and give us some input on certain things like housing, and we do the same with HOC, like if we need something on the holidays, like ordinance or whatever, we turn to them just for an out, just another avenue for the public to come and to say things for, we still will bring that to committee here.
Right, but I mean, for this, you would need some kind of technical expertise. HRC, you can ask, you're kind of asking them as a sounding board, and we want it, and they're a diverse group along a variety of lines, so you have that diversity in their sounding board. I mean, CDAs may be a better example, or DRB, where you have a certain number of architects and interior designer and real estate person. Maybe that's a better, so I'm not sure like what, are we looking for people who have expertise in municipal budgeting? I mean, how many people are there with that in Shroewood that would be able to even fulfill this? I mean, I would love to have it, but I'm still struggling with how we would find that person.
Through the appointment process with an application. I think it would be the same as our other committees.
So there's any other comments on ad hoc budget committee?
I just have one. We have 3 outstanding items with the board that we have still yet to come back and complete. One is the clear documentation of our appointment process and making sure that that's scheduled and well defined. Another is completing role the board and how standing committees will function. I'm pulling you back in memory. And then a third, which is a review of our committees and the structure. So I know that I will be in a much better position to evaluate new committees when I see what that structure entails for those 3 items.
So could we, if there's not agreement to form it, could we have some consensus that JP&L can then, while they're looking at the committee structures, they could, evaluate this, and then staff would be giving input at that time?
I mean, I'm interested in pursuing the idea further. I'm a little puzzled about it, but I'm interested in pursuing it further. I see the worth in it. But I'm looking at faces around the table, and I'm not seeing it.
I somewhat feel similar. The direction of sort of what we're hoping to get out of this budget committee is a little bit confusing to me. But I also think that there could be some good that could come from it. And I guess I would also just want to know, like, what are we hoping these residents' backgrounds look like? Because if it is municipal finance, I think that's pretty limiting. But if it's, are we looking for an accountant and I think that would determine my openness to it, I guess.
So more definition is what you would.
Definition of what a committee member would look like, and then also sort of the direction that we're hoping this committee would go in.
I agree with you.
Trustee McKay?
after launching the HRC and kind of having a little idea about what it takes to kind of create a charter, a mission, objectives, a framework, and then for the committee to come together and get to know each other and priorities and all that. It is a considerable amount of work to launch it, and so I would just keep in mind, to Trustee Carpenter's point about what are we expecting and at what point and when would we start to kind of see the impact and results and all that. I don't think it's out of the question, but when I think of it in terms of some of the other kind of more things that are already in process and where they would get us and all that, then I just wonder if the timing is, if it's just not realistic to bite off that much this year. So that's my the question that I have tonight, that I don't think can be answered. I think it's just gonna take it, that we have to go through all the other ones and then do that hard prioritization.
So are there any more comments on the ad hoc budget committee? If not, Rebecca, do you want to move us on to the next?
Sure, the next one on the list is develop a capital facilities plan.
That was mine. I just, we had a meeting a couple months ago where we kind of looked over a whole bunch of plans. We have a bunch of planning documents on a variety of areas of our facilities. I think it would be worthwhile to have a single document that talks about, our current status of our roads, our sewers, our village buildings, everything. And then some planning as to when things are gonna need to be replaced. Roofs, that kind of thing. So we have something taking us out, 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, we have some idea. So I mean, a lot of this we already have, it's more just trying to put it into a single document, most places, many places I've worked have something like this, and it is useful to have all your information in one place, and then it also leads very easily into your capital budgeting process. So you have your area that the world that you're looking at, and then you have your long-range financial plan. So it dovetails into other things like the long-range financial plan and capital, and would lead us to doing real capital budgeting. So anyway, it's just kind of taking what we have, but just being a little bit more intentional and defined about it.
Anyone have any comments? Trustee Meyer?
Would this be probably a multi-year project to start building this plan, or figuring out where the holes are and what gaps?
We probably need to hire a consultant, I'm guessing. But I'd have to go back and look. I think we certainly have been doing a tremendous amount of planning around the sewer and stormwater, right? And roads now. Most of the DPW stuff, I think, and we're grappling now with the DPW yard. But it's more just having a single place where everything is. And so that, and I think also for trustees and the public, so we have kind of what we get from the long-range financial plan, which is, but the long-range financial plan right now, I think it used to be more of a comprehensive document of this is everything, like that we need to be thinking about and worrying, and now we've kind of trimmed it a little bit more, but,
So do small capital and big capital, right? Right now, the small capital is like fleet, cars, computers, it would do all of that.
Yeah, we could, yeah. We could include small capital and projections of the, capital facilities, that cash budget that we have for capital too. But it's more a long-range planning document. It's more just like, because I think like the longer you're on the board, the more after time you say, oh yeah, okay, well I remember we talked about that once. But it's, we don't have a single document that like a new board member could come and read and be like, okay, now I understand where we are with parks and what we still need to do with parks and what we still need to do with Village Hall and where we are with the HVAC at Village Center and what are we gonna do with the DPW yard and we, so it's sort of like you learn it over time, but really we should have one document that sums it all up for us and for the public.
Oh, I agree 100%, and I think, I think it goes to Budget and Finance Committee, so it's just staff time, because I don't know that we need a consultant, we're kind of doing that, although it's been stalled, but like with a fiscal note. You know, we have to we get examples, we bring examples that we see, and then we just, it's not that we don't have it, it's that we just want to improve upon it and put it in one spot, and it's just getting consensus with the board of what do you want to see in it. So we may need to discuss, but I think to start, this would be an issue that goes to Budget and Finance, and but it does take some staff time. But
I think, yeah, definitely it takes staff time, and it may take some consultant time just to actually put a document together, I would think, but maybe not.
Anything further on that initiative? Trustee McKay?
Do we have an assessment of how much staff time it would take and how it would slot in? Or is the only form we have the numbered list of the initiatives?
it's just, I envision it as committee time, so if, you know, like, I don't know how to estimate that, Rebecca, maybe you have a better estimation, but
I don't.
like, can we, the committee and have them work with the committee on it? It might take 2 years if there's not enough staff time for the year. It's just whenever, it's getting the board to say, this is something we think is needed, and then working on it as the time allows. You know, it may take longer if there's not enough staff time. What it is right now. But whenever if it's committee time, we would schedule it. That's my thought.
Do we have a schedule, like roofs, like roofs, furnaces, just kind of the general layout?
We do.
Okay.
I'm gonna call it an internal document,
Right.
and to be very honest with you, it's an internal document because there's so much information, I haven't yet figured out a way to put it in one document
Okay.
that is easily readable and accessible and useful by anyone but our staff.
Yeah.
So I think that would really be, I'd be very interested in seeing, examples of documents that include everything. Cause I'm honestly, I'm very challenged by, what we have tried to do in the past to incorporate even, multiple facility types in a single document. So I'd really love to see some examples of what that one document that has everything looks like.
Oh, I can send you some.
I would appreciate that.
I mean, most
truly.
places like have an architect and an engineer, like a team that goes through the buildings and sort of says, okay, this building's in pretty good shape, but this is what has to happen with the boiler, and this was have to happen with the
Yeah.
elevator, and this is what the
Yeah.
outside envelope looks like, and here's potential plumbing issues, and,
Yeah, no, and that gets very, it gets very complex. I've tried multiple times to put a document like that together and using Excel generally, and you just end up with, it just gets a little unwieldy, because you think about a particular building, you have to assess exterior, you have to assess mechanicals, you have to assess interior finishes, you have to assess exterior hardscaping, softscaping, then you get into floor treatments, you get into windows, you get into electrical, I mean, it's a lot of information, and we do look at that internally, and then pull those out as annual budget requests that we make to the board, which I understand isn't particularly helpful for you to see the long-term picture, but I would love to see some examples of what you would like to see that look like, definitely.
See, this is, cause it's already, like Leanne already knows it, it's already in somewhere, like, we already have the information. It's kinda like with the roads and the sewers, like, it's all in Leanne's head. We just have to get it out of her
Oh,
head.
your
into a
head, get it
document.
out of your head.
No wonder I have so many headaches.
I mean,
It's a furnace
you have a
going.
lot of stuff in your head. and
I do,
it's
I
like taking
appreciate that
stuff
you
from
think
Leanne's
that.
head.
I just know where it's stored.
Well,
It's
you
not
have,
stored
between
here.
you and Joel, you have a lot of stuff in your head. Or you know where it is, but yeah, I just think, it's, rather than having Leanne as the resource to go to, that there would be, and you're right, I mean, I don't think we would wanna get down to the, the level of floor when we have to replace carpeting and that kind of thing, I think we could like keep it at like major building systems,
Right.
but, yeah, how deep down we get, but also just to give us like that big picture of like, so you're not here for 3 years and somebody says, oh, didn't you know about that, or what was the thing we were reading, I was reading today, oh, about the downspout, that all the downspouts have to be separated from the combined sewer system by 2025, you know? I mean, not that that's, well, that is kind of a capital facility. So I'm just saying, sometimes you're sitting here and you're like, whoa, I didn't know anything about that, and that's huge, you know, and so, anyway.
Yep, I agree.
So, any further comment on capital facilities plan?
Well, what did we say we'd take it up at Budget and Finance Committee and try to figure out an approach?
Try to figure out what it would look
Yeah.
like. I
Well,
support the
yeah,
idea,
I-
or that somehow
Yeah.
if we can.
I mean, is realistic from a staffing perspective, and how, you know, how do we get it out of everyone's head?
It sounds like we just need a little more definitions.
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
budget
yeah.
it's
process.
something to
Siphon
take
out
on.
Okay, well, let's talk about it, budget.
Yeah,
That one.
that's good.
Okay.
So, trustee Maher, I think you're next with, am I right, diverse and inclusive village
Yes.
workforce?
Yeah, I put this, I had proposed this last year. And it's really targeted at us as village board members and as employers of staff. And I think a lot of organizations do workforce analysis or file EEO-1s looking at what is the composition of their staff. And since I've been on the board, I don't remember actually the board doing that. And then with that analysis, think about, is there things we can be doing to improve our recruitment, retention? But at least it's a snapshot of where we're at in having a diverse workforce. It's really just for us as employers. I mean, the residents are also the employers. The ultimate